I told them that Peter Obi is going to scam them.
Yeah, but
that is a political con man. Look at what is happening.
I'm saying
you will go to Diaspora. I don't give shish, but you collect shish.
Mr. Okonkwo, I think it's important. I think it's important.
It is not just that anybody who is voting for NDC or Peter Obi is voting for Tinubu. Anybody who is voting for NDC and Peter Obi is voting for criminality. There is one man called Obunike Ohebu, the House of Representatives aspirant, Newi North and Newi South, and Ekusigo local government from Anambra State. He sent an SOS to me, and he said that Peter Obi is now the head of the criminality, that they were scammed in NDC. And he said, Kwakwanso went back to his people and made sure that every constituency produced one candidate so that they will not be scammed. But Peter Obi told them that all of them, the aspirants, should go into the field and that they thought they were going to have primaries. Remember, Sereka Dixon came out and said, once you pay your expression of interest form, you are not going to pay any money. When you are now the one that is nominated, that's when they will take nomination fee. And all of them ran into it. Then Peter Obi and the leaders of the Southeast now went and told them, anybody who wants to be House of Rep person, after paying that expression of interest, must pay 10 million naira bribe, and Senate 20 million naira bribe. When they were
bribe to who?
Bribe to the NDC and the caucus. They call them caucus leaders in the Southeast. This was what he wrote it and sent to me, and sent me the receipt, because they told him he needed money to campaign for his presidency. Now, when they doubted, they were told individually. So they thought they were now the chosen candidate, that maybe that is the nomination fee. When all of them paid, they discovered there were many. Then we are now told to go into the field for direct primary. And when they now went into the field, they thought that there was going to be genuine primary. And as they were in that field, killing themselves, Peter Obi was in John Wood Hotel. He mentioned the hotel, writing the list of candidates. And after that, they submitted it. You know what he said? He said, I am not disappointed that I lost the ticket. I am rather disappointed that I invested my time, resources, and reputation in a process that is becoming increasingly opaque and inconsistent with the democratic principles it proclaimed. And this is another man from Enugu State, a highly political person, sent to me. And you know what he said? He said, I have a direct taste of the fraud called Peter Obi. Recently in NDC.
But we must put that, yes.
NDC has become a national dialogue for criminality.
No, but just a moment.
Discussion of criminal.
Mr. Okonkwo, you do acknowledge that that was the testimony of one person, and it's an allegation.
No.
You haven't investigated that.
Hold on.
To be able to say you did your own investigation, yes, and you found it to be true.
What, did you know what Aisha said? He said they did not even give me, I'm not talking about level playing ground. They did not give me ground at all. He said it on TV. I'm talking about corroboration. A lot of them have said it. And you know why I'm annoyed? You said I did the investigation. I am the leader of ADC in Enugu State. The same people we fought that they will not extort the aspirants. They are the people that went to NDC and they started extorting the aspirants. NDC has come out with a statement trying to distance themselves from what is happening in the Southeast. And they said it is the caucus leaders in the Southeast that are responsible.
Yeah.
Peter Obi from Anambra State, Okwesile Nwodo from Enugu State, Ugochukwu Onyema from Abia State, Atiku Abubakar from Imo State, and what else is remaining?
Yeah, but don't you think that is? I mean,
Sam
I'm not trying
5 states in the Southeast.
Exonerate
you know what
anyone.
I'm telling you? We want to bring new leadership in the Southeast because of leaders like this. That is why Southeast has been coming last in Nigerian politics. Southeast people are marginalized in the federal government. We fight to eat. And after that, some of our leaders are calling us and scamming us. And do you know the annoying thing? When they start coming out publicly to deceive the public that they are saints, that they are when they are absolute hypocrites. In NDC, it is the Southeast people that are crying most. Go and check it. And it is a testimony to their leadership. I said I experienced it firsthand in Enugu State. When we resisted them, they were the people, the same people that went into NDC, and they are perpetrating the criminality.
Atiku will pay heavily for his poor judgment in 2027. He will pay. Nigerians will make him pay. And there is nothing that his reliance on Marabout will do to save him. He will pay. His poor judgment is what led him to bamboozle his way, to decide that he should contest in a 2027 election where the majority of Nigerians believe that power should remain in the South. Poor judgment. Poor judgment. His propensity to dishonesty, his propensity to corrupt a generation before him and a generation after him is what made him and pushed him to confuse the likes of Kenneth Okonkwo, the likes of Dino Melaye, to confuse the likes of David Mark, to manipulate a full system to give him ticket. Poor judgment, propensity to dishonesty. But Nigerians will make him pay. Nigerians will make him pay, and there is nothing that his reliance on Marabout will do to save him. Poor judgment. If it is not poor judgment, tell me. We know the history of Atiku. 2003. Poor judgment was what made Atiku to go against his principal, the President Olusegun Obasanjo, because he felt he had the structure of PDP under his control. He decided to run against Obasanjo in 2003 after just one term. There are rumors, or he's claiming that, there's an agreement that Obasanjo should do just one term, blah, 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 blah. Even at that, poor decision. So when Obasanjo wrote that, and many persons have echoed it, and is it not sounding true in the ears of Nigerians, that Atiku has a propensity to make bad or poor decisions. He decided, if only Atiku had just decided to be patient with Obasanjo in 2003, if he behaved well and made the right decisions, he would have become president after Obasanjo in 2007. But no, propensity to make bad decisions pushed him to make a bad decision to go against Obasanjo. Many people say, it was his ability to fight and defend democratic principle that made him fight Obasanjo. That was in 2007. That he fought Obasanjo, if he did, to stop the third term that was rumored at the time. Obasanjo has denied it. Many senators and House of Rep members at the time have come to say it was true. Whether it is true, whether it was not true, Atiku is laying claim that he was instrumental to stopping Obasanjo's third term. Was that a smart decision if it is true? 2011, again, he was in PDP, but he left to contest against Jonathan. He came back to PDP again. In 2015, propensity for poor judgment kicked in again. Goodluck Jonathan met him, spoke with him, talked with him. Be patient, let me do this second term. When I finish, we'll consider you. If only Atiku had been patient, he would have succeeded Jonathan in 2019 instead of working against Jonathan. propensity to poor judgment, propensity to dishonesty. What then happened? Buhari won, entered. He could have been president in 2019, but he missed out that opportunity. Propensity for poor judgment. If it is not poor judgment, because many people argue, or many articulated, I think that name should be called unarticulated. Many articulated believe that he has the propensity to win. In 2027, tell me, where will Atiku get votes from in the whole of the 3 geopolitical zones in the south? In 2003, against the run of zoning, Atiku only got 3 states in the south. Only 3 states. Only 3. Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa, and Osun. And a struggle. It was a struggle. At that time, you had Osun, Akwa Ibom, and Bayelsa as PDP states. And in case anybody is still arguing, the strength of Atiku was the PDP structure. Atiku has no organic following. 0. It's not like Peter Obi or Kwankwanso. No. No organic following. Now, those 3 states are gone. If it is not propensity for poor judgment, why will Atiku believe that he should even contest at all? And that if he got the ticket, like he claims he knows how to get ticket. Have I not ever gotten the ticket? If Atiku had proper judgment, he would have noticed that even if I get the ticket, where will my votes come from in the whole 3 geopolitical zones of the south? Poor judgment, propensity for poor judgment. That was what pushed him in 2023 to say that the North should only vote for the North. They should not vote for Yoruba. They should not vote for Igbo. They should only vote for the North. Poor judgment. How would that kind of statement come out from somebody who calls himself a unifier? Poor judgment. Now, it is that poor judgment that pushed him now to manipulate ADC. To do what? To give him ticket. He's believing that if he is the sole major candidate from the North will give him votes. Let's assume that the whole 3 geopolitical zones from the North give him ticket. Let's assume. You need at least to win 4 geopolitical zones to be president of Nigeria. At least. So, poor judgment again. And let's not forget, Atiku does not have strength in the middle belt, in the north central geopolitical zone. Benue, Plateau, Nasarawa, Kogi, Kwara, Niger. Atiku did not win any of those states in 2023. And what has changed there that will make him think he will win any state there in 2027? So even the North Central is gone. The only hope for Atiku to get any vote is Northwest and Northeast. Even at that, he managed in Taraba, or is it Adamawa? He managed. He won Bauchi, won Jigawa, won Yobe, lost Borno, won Katsina, won Kaduna, won Sokoto, won Kebbi, lost the others in 2023. Now, in 2027, where you now have a Tinubu as an incumbent, and you now have a Peter Obi pairing and aligning with a Kwankwanso in the north, If he gets 4 states from the north, he will try. But his propensity for poor judgment still pushed him to manipulate his way to giving himself ticket instead of aligning with a Peter Obi. Propensity for poor judgment. But guess what? In 2027, his belief and reliance on Marabout will not save him. It will only embarrass him. Let us not forget that he still has court cases against him. His candidature of ADC is hanging on a thin thread. On a thin thread. Now, Babachir Lawal has fired him. The first time, he replied, poor judgment. If he had right judgment, he would know that there was no point for him replying to Babachir Lawal. But he replied. Now, Babachir Lawal has fired him a second time. And what do we take? What can we take from the second missile that Babachir Lawal fired at Atiku? Atiku is goddamn broke. I said it before, I've been saying it. When we say Atiku is broke, it doesn't mean that he's having 0 naira. No. It simply means that he doesn't have the money to even fund rigging in a general election the way he was able to do it in the ADC primaries. He doesn't have that money. He miscalculated in thinking that he will be able to get a Peter Obi to be his vice so he can enjoy the goodwill of Peter Obi. Because he knows now that he cannot get an oil-rich state to give him a governor that he will use as vice president so he can have access to the funds of the oil-rich state, like he did with Okowa in 2023. 1.6 trillion naira. That's what EFCC is alleging was misappropriated. For what? For Atiku. So he was hoping on that, but poor judgment again. Because that did not come through. So Atiku is goddamn broke. I pity the likes of them, Kenneth Okonkwo. Well, maybe broke, but may still be able to give him something. But already we hear that he has called on his press people to do a press release and he ignored Kenneth Okonkwo. That's a sign. Poor judgment again. You may say, oh, it's because Kenneth Okonkwo really lashed him in 2023. So it will make sense to ignore Kenneth Okonkwo. But was it only Kenneth Okonkwo? Did Daniel Bwala not lash him? Poor judgment again. He keeps gathering people. Yeah, you may gather 9 people that will be loyal to you, 1 person that will be disloyal, and the disloyalty will cancel the loyalty of the remaining 9. That's the result of Atiku's poor judgment. All his businesses are dead. Intels, he came to disclaim Intels. But even at that, let's even ascribe Intels to him. They are not doing well. They are struggling. His farms, his logistics company, his feeds manufacturing company, all those. It's not me that said it. It's Babachir Lawal. They are not doing well. Uwokosi, no money. Iguero. Egodiro. No money. No money. So even if he wins his court case, the money to fund 2027 election, Atiku could not get. So if it is not poor judgment, why did Atiku enter into the race? Why did Atiku not just support a Peter Obi Jeje and become a kingmaker with his name etched in gold? Why? Some of us believe it's not too late for him. He can still retrace his steps. Withdraw from the race. Babachir Lawal says ADC should replace him. Atiku does not need to wait for ADC to replace him. He should do the smart thing, correct his mistakes right now. Withdraw from the 2027 race to save whatever is left of his reputation. Because if Obasanjo wrote it, Wike has repeated it, Kenneth Okonkwo repeated it, many Nigerians can now see it and believe it. If he insists, if Atiku insists on continuing the 2027 presidential race, He go run, he go tire. And Nigerians will make him pay for his propensity for poor judgment, putting his own personal interest against the interest of a full country, disregarding zoning when it does not favor him and calling for it when it favored him. The same Atiku that was shouting zoning, zoning in 2011, shouting zoning, zoning in 2015, 2019, came and said, no, zoning is not it in 2023, and is repeating it again in 2027. Propensity to destroy the interests of a full country, a full political party. He destroyed PDP. Many people blame Wike. What would you do in Wike's case? Not like Wike is perfect. Wike to get his own. But who created him? Atiku. Why? Poor judgment. Nigerians would do well to avoid the poor judgment, the propensity to dishonesty, and the reliance on marabout of Atiku in 2027, except he wakes up and withdraws from the race by himself. But will he withdraw? Will he continue stubbornly? Whatever the case is, we will make sure that 2027 elections is free and fair, and only the people's candidate will emerge. For us to achieve that, you need to volunteer as a PU Marshal on the VoteWatch platform. Check the link in the description, VoteWatch.pro. Sign up and then sponsor our awareness campaign. There are several packages in there on the sponsor page. Pick one. We make this thing loud that no Nigerian will say he did not hear.